ears hear the sound of time, stories weaving words that climb, whispered tales in a cozy nook. Welcome to the magic of every book. Bookshelf babble, take the stage, turn the chapter, fill the page. Laughter, wisdom, stories to spare, a podcast world where books are everywhere. From paperbacks to leather spines, mysteries, thrillers, and classic lines. Stories crackle, voices ring, dive on in, it's a podcast thing. Adventures waiting just one word away from us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome in our live session of Bookshelf Bubble podcast. Here we talk about books and all topics what related to it. You're welcome to be here, and as always, you can watch live session here and write question directly in chat. I will keep my watch on the chat and I will try to answer any. If you have some question, you be free to write any question you want. If you want to talk, just find the voice room in Hello Talk and join to our conversation. Okay, let's go to start our today's session. As regularly, we use a platform that has name Hello Talk. I like it because it's very simple. Create the voice room and people around the world, what possible, join to this voice room and talk about any topics. And because I like to talk about books, I started books that have a voice room that has name what book are you reading. Just find this voice room and join if you want to talk. And start our voice room today. And okay, I see we have some problems. Okay, I see some problems with this voice room. I just need to restart. I need some seconds. Be patient and wait when I complete this. Yeah, sorry for this trouble, but yeah, I need some minutes to restart session today. Okay, I think I'm ready to start. But not ready yet. Just a second. Just a second. Okay, I think now I'm ready. Okay, we try again to start voice room. Yeah, my message appear in chat, and I think it's okay. Just wait when someone join to us to talk. Yeah. First of all, if you want to chat here, you possibly use the Twitch chat to talk. Just raise your question or some sort what you have. And I like to ask first of all, what book are you reading in current moment? It will be nice if you share with us what particular book are you reading in this moment. It will be nice to know. Hey, hello, you're welcome. Here we talk about books and don't shy, join to our conversation. Just raise your hand and I will add you to talk here. Okay, we just wait when someone join to us today. Maybe I just tell some word about what I'm reading in current moment. But to be honest, not reading, I just completed this book today. I'm very happy and very glad about this book. It's well written. Yeah, I very like how this book was written, and I'm very interested in the plot of the story and how all is ended. Yeah, and I talk about book Haruki Murakami 1QA4. I read this book contains 3 books in series, and I just completed third book. First 2 books I read in paper variant, but third book I just let to use electronic version in my electronic reader to complete it, and I completed just in several days. I very like it. I'm not sure I can recommend it for people who like to some kind of mystery and some kind of love story. It's very good reading for my opinion. They contain a lot of light too. Yeah, I first I want to tell it's well written by my opinion. It's very good like to write your talent of author. Yeah, and they contain a lot of another moments what I very like, but maybe and I mentioned this later when we talk and when I prepare some special like maybe episode of podcast or my later live session when I just tell about this. Yeah, I'm planning to do this because I was very impressed by this book. Okay, and in this case, it will be interesting to know what book are you reading in current moment. Yeah, please write name of the book and author in here in chat. I will check. Okay, we just wait when someone joined us today. But I think it's like to Sunday today. Not many people here, but sometimes someone joined to us. Okay, hello, you're welcome. Here we talk about books. Just let's go to talk. Hey, hello.
Good morning. Good evening. How are you doing? Good.
Yeah, thanks. How are you?
So, this is the first time I'm talking to a Belarusian guy. So,
Okay, you're welcome.
Generally.
Yeah, okay. I try to, I don't know, be like to how it's explained peaceful and impress you. Because
Yeah,
I
because you
think
guys are.
because first impressions are very important, not just about me, but all Belarusians.
No, I did not say anything about impressions. I just said that this is the first time I'm talking to, because you guys are how many of you? I think 10 millions. So
Yeah.
it's pretty rare to find a Belarusian on this app or anywhere in the world. So yeah, that's something very rare. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's complicated to find like Belarusian people around, but in this case, it's very uh, every time when you met like Belarusian in any country, you just like to feel like
Hmm.
to tight in like tight connection between because you know it's some you are some kind of special, and
Yeah, because
it's very simple to create the connection and friendship in another country.
yeah, exactly. As I said, because you guys are compared to other countries, you guys are very small population. Anyways, do you have any recommendation of books? I think I'm gonna start reading books. So do you have any recommendations?
Oh, it's some it's some hard question because I think books is somewhere specific, and I'm not sure it's like my recommendations was very like to suitable for you. For example, I'm on just like to books what well written. Yeah,
With what?
uh,
Sorry.
I like the book what well written and attract my attention. It's some complicated to
Okay.
understand this book is good or bad. I not every time like to trust some kind of
Yeah.
ratings because sometimes it's some of these slow ratings possible contain
Yeah.
and like a very good book for me. Yeah, but I can just like to add some recommendation. For example, uh, I mentioned here in chat, but I just like to repeat it. I just completed book that has name 1QA4 by Haruki Murakami. I type in chat on the top. It's some,
Hmm.
and I'm not sure it's like to will be some interesting for you, but for me it was like to interest in some kind of mystery, but main character is some like love story in the main plot. But around this love
Hmm.
story happen many like to fantasy and some detective actions. Yeah, I like it because it's well written, contain a lot of like to explain and like to very well describes scene and something like this. But it's just some kind of love story. Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like you're into books about detectives and crime and
No,
everything, yes?
not yet. I didn't start. I didn't want to start this book. I just start read it
Hmm.
because I bought like two paper variant in second-hand shop, and I heard a lot of about author. It's two reasons why I started to read this book.
Okay. For me, the last book, I mean, that's something I want to change. The last book I read was like, I don't know, 2 years or something. I mean, besides school books and language books, but the uh, now I'm talking about a real book. It was like 2 years, and it was about I think it was a biography. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called Hillbilly Elegy. Do you know it?
Can you type name here in chat because it's more simple to find. Uh,
Okay, okay. I'll tell you about the author. Do you know J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the U.S., the current one? So he wrote it about
yeah,
his childhood and everything.
I'm not.
Okay, I'll write it
Yeah,
down.
if you type, it's more simple to find. I heard something, but I'm not sure. Um, okay, I will try to find.
Yeah, they turned it into a movie in Netflix. But I haven't finished the book, so I'm waiting to finish it. But anyways, as you said, there's also you said detectives and crimes. There's also I think Agatha Christie, and I think I'm gonna go for a book of her because this also interests me, the crime and the mystery. Yeah, that's a nice type.
Do you mean this book?
Yes, exactly. J.D. Vance, the current vice president of the United States, the vice president of Trump right now. So he wrote this book. In Belarus, what is the type of books
Uh,
mostly
yeah, I found some
read?
information about this book. It's some kind of biography, uh,
Yeah,
and it just like some kind of memories. Yeah, I
yeah,
just like to surprise it to know that Vice President was written this book.
yeah,
But
exactly.
I think in this kind of guys what like to very busy in politics or something like this, they were often not like to write this book by own. They just like to okay, yes, maybe like to uh, hire some peoples who do this stuff. They just like to okay, you should be explain this
Yeah,
in this from my biography, and the finals they read. Okay, I believe in this in this book. You can like to publish this book by my name. I think this kind of the book because I think it's a very good point to, especially to, before president election, to have this kind of book to show. Okay, you can read all about me and see how
yeah,
I'm very I'm good. I'm good, guys.
yeah. Definitely you're right. But I think he wrote the book way before his election campaign. But anyways, uh, uh, that's uh, that's a good point because that's what they do, especially when it's filled with and views about political issues. Yeah, definitely. And for example, in Belarus.
Yeah, I agree
Oh, nice.
with this. Yeah,
Yes, in Morocco we do not. Mhm.
yeah, I see this letter was written in 2016 and something in these years.
Yeah,
It's like before election.
yeah, exactly. But he shows how he grew up from one of the not one of the literally the poorest area of the United States, and he went up to be the vice president. So yeah, that's quite something.
Yeah, but okay, we just be like to wait when what is and happen in this politician decade and what
Yeah,
how we should be like to judge this guy as like to
yeah,
good or bad guys yeah, because I
yeah,
think a
definitely.
lot of instability now and it's complicated to predict what happened next and who was involved in what like uh, ideas.
Definitely. Me, for example, I think I still have the when you're a kid, you have the attraction to books with pictures. So I still have this fascination of books that that contain pictures, but I think they're not they're not in the. I mean, you have to look in the children category, but I do not wanna be reading children books. So that's that's gonna be quite hard to find them because when you're reading a book and it has pictures, I mean, scattered between the pages, you just have something to look for instead of uh, reading page by page, hundreds of pages. So I think photos put has a small touch of I don't know uh, motivation to finish the book.
Yeah, but in this in this time, you just like to um, you just watch the picture and and like to just
Yeah.
like to reconstruct and like to maybe some just adjust this picture. And in this case, it's you depend on like to illustrator vision of this like this scene or this like to story. And yeah, it's in this case you like to depend on some another people how they view this book. In this case, I not like to. For me, it's not so important to have some kind of pictures in the book. Yeah, because very often this book is just force you in think and like to imagine this like to stand in this kind of direction. But most of the time when you're reading some kind of novels, you imagine just like to walk and you build your own vision or how it's all happened.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah,
sometimes I
that's
remember
crazy.
some kind of books they contain some very like abstract illustration and very like to I don't know postmodern illustration or something but not very related to the book. And very often this is illustration just some kind of self expression of illustrator, not just like to uh, reflect what happens in the book. Sometimes I saw this kind of illustration. Yeah, but
Yeah.
okay. I have one additional like to strange question, but I just want to mention I put in the chat. I'm streaming this live session in the Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And as well you can after follow and find the like video version of this stream. I have another question. Can you suggest like one book would show how people live in your country, or maybe action happening in your
To,
country, or maybe a main character from your country?
to be honest, I haven't read any. I think I have one, but this one was way before. I think it was 70 years ago. So let me write it down. I think you'll find the PDF, but I haven't. I mean, for example, me, my whole life I read like I don't know, 30 books or something, and 90% of them are children books. So me in my adult age, I don't usually read books, which is a shame. But let me look for this book and I'll put it down. Let's see.
Yeah, because why I asked because I like to read this book what related to some specific country or some specific territory, and what show like to cultural aspect of this country or some particular area.
Yeah, definitely. By that you get to know the culture and everything. And yeah, I wrote you this book if you wanna read it. I think it's available on the internet PDF for free. Yeah, go download it and let me ask you something. Do you use any legal website to download the books, or do you go buy them?
Yeah, I do have this like to cultural um, I don't know behavior, and not behavior like to habit to buy legally. I very often just find the pirate version of electronic book and
Ah,
buy
okay.
them.
Yeah, because there was a website which was very useful, which called Z Library, but right now it's not the same. I think in some areas it's banned or something. It was very helpful, but now you know contained like 2 million books. Yeah, which was that's a shame they took it.
Yeah, uh,
Yeah, and you what's a Belarusian book you would recommend? But listen, it has to be in English because I cannot speak Russian.
Yeah, I know. I prepared this answer on my own question, but by the way, can you tell some words about the book what you suggested? I just find this book, some information about it,
Oh,
but can you just tell
this,
some words?
this, yeah, this shows the misery of a young boy until his adult life experiences, work experiences, I think also sexual experiences, and how to say it, life experiences generally during the Spanish colonization of Morocco, and it shows the growth of the. It's a biography. It shows the growth of the person, which from his surroundings, it was very uncommon that he would have gotten where he is right now. So, for example, he started reading and learning until he's 20 years old, and then he ended up being a writer, an author, which is impressive. So yeah, it shows the how he grew up in a poor community, and he ended up being a successful uh, author. That's what the book is about.
Okay, thanks for a detailed explanation. I think
Yeah, I mean, you find it PDF, you just have to search for it
no, I just
to
like to
find it.
use Goodreads and find some information about and just like to save to for future reading. And it's maybe
Okay.
next I just like to pick up one of these for yeah, but I like to some kind of collect this kind of suggestion, and when it's time for pick
Yeah,
up the next book, I just like to go through the suggestion and pick up one.
yeah.
I think this kind of books, if you correctly like to guess, it's very often this kind of book is based on their own experience, and they just like to
Mm,
maybe through the main character just uh, like to translate his own experience, and very often this kind of book is some very like to very good book because they based on like true story. Because I saw sometimes when the author writers try to imagine some experience when they not like to had before, and sometimes it's like very helpful. But if you have experience in some very simple, and very often writers just like to use some their own experience in and use it to describe some main character, for example. Okay,
yeah, definitely.
thanks for
Yeah,
this
definitely.
recommendation. I just try to find a book what I want to recommend.
I just checked it in Goodreads and it has a pretty good rating. It's got 3.5 on Goodreads. So I didn't know that. Let's see. Six.
Okay, I found.
And you, do you have any Belarusian book?
Yeah. I just like to copy the name I just published here. Just a second.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
yeah, I can like to suggest book that has name Secondhand Time, The Last of Soviets. It's by Svetlana Alexievich. It's a Belarusian writer, and it's
Mm-hmm.
first. She is the first Nobel Prize winner in literature from Belarus, and this book. It's some kind of compilation of like a real story of people, and the main like idea of this book is to show how life how changed life of people, how people's life changed after when Soviet Union disappeared. And very often
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's happened very dramatically, and many like national conflicts arose, and neighbors start kill each other, and they just like to present voices of people that uh, that tell his story. Yeah, and I think this is some very sad book because it contains a lot of sad stories, but it's very good show how people live in time when Soviet Union disappeared in different parts of this country and in Belarus too.
Okay, interesting. No, I'll check it out. I have an attraction for a historical book. Yeah, I also have has a section of the books from for ancient times. For example, I see the Roman or the Greek times, but just to know how they used to live. But yeah, I'll make sure to check it. It's called Second Time. Lost of the Soviets. Let's see.
Okay, you mentioned that you like to ancient books. In this case, I can recommend it one book. I was very impressed, and I really like to read in my young ages. It's just a second. I don't remember. It's Roman. Yeah, it's to Roman philosopher and writer. And okay, I just copy here. The book has named later from Stoic. Maybe you heard about some kind of philosophy, the Stoic philosophy.
That sounds good. Stoicism.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is one of the foundation of this to philosophy. This branch of philosophy, and letters from Stoic. It's some very very narrative, and I very like it in my young ages, and I very like to surprise me.
Thankfully it's free on WordPress, so that's a nice thing. I have a question. Have you ever? I tried to once. I read the let's say because I bought the I'm talking about Crime and Punishment of Dostoevsky, and I read the half of the first part. I did not finish it, but I think it was very depressing, and that's why I did not have the motivation to finish it. Did you finish it?
I maybe ended in the same places where you ended. I just like to complete the half.
So it's not just me.
Yeah, I think it's not my book. It's some very depressed, and maybe I will be to want to read, and maybe not this book, maybe some other books of Dostoevsky. I think it's more will be more interesting, but for me it was very I agree with you. It's some very depressive. I can complete it.
Very.
And as well, you're not alone in this.
I think all these books are depressive. I have a question. In Belarus, do they speak Belarusian or Russian?
We have two official languages now, Belarusian and Russian, and we both languages learn in school. And we free speak in Russian too.
Okay, so they're close to each other. For example, you can understand Russian.
Yeah, but I think it's Russian is more complicated to understand us, because we have some words that sound similar, but it's some very different meaning. Yeah, but for us it's not complicated, because it's two neighbors, and we have some shared history, and our language has very and developed together. and we have like a lot
Yeah,
of
definitely,
similarity.
definitely. So you must have read the book in Russian.
Yeah, because to be honest, in current moment, like Russian is more spread in our country, but I very like to
Yeah,
read on Belarusian language too. And last, like several years, I just try to keep and read an English book and in English translation, just like to Russian writers I read in Russian, but most I try to read on English.
yeah. I mean, reading in the original language has a special feeling. You get to know the exact words and
Yeah,
translations.
yeah, exact.
Yeah,
And some books just lose a like a layer of information when it's translated to another language, and sounds is so very different.
definitely, definitely. For example, if you have if you have a how to say it, if you have an idea about Persian or Arabic poetry, and they're literally the one of the best poetries on earth. But the problem, you have to speak Arabic. For us, for example, Arabic speakers, there's there's some poems that we cannot even know the words because they are very difficult, or they are less used, or they have just gone extinct. So we have a little bit of advantage of understanding the poems, but when you get to translate them in English, yeah, I think it changes the meaning by, I don't know, 80% or something, because some words are just cannot be translated. Yeah, which is a shame. But in English, it's not. I mean, English, you can understand everything. You have dictionaries and everything. Unlike Arabic, that has many words, like 10 millions of words. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I very often like to talk about these ideas. Arabic poetry. It's very complicated to translate because it's
yeah,
sometimes it's I think maybe sometimes it's English don't contain like the true correct word to correctly translate.
definitely. Yeah,
and and also I have like to experience when I read like to Russian poetry, and after I read like to Belarusian translation of this poetry, and it's been in I now is a very well both languages, and I see how is very different sounds Belarusian translation. It sounds like it's another poetry. It's very different, and you cannot like to just like to correctly relate to poetry, but it's to poetry, but um, just translated, and in reality, it's on two different piece of art.
hmm
And I think it's poetry in this case. It's some some hardest to translate, and you should be like to read in original because it's not just like about sense. It's about like to voice, melody, and like to and I don't know like to tension between the words. It's very complicated to correctly translate because very often translator it's not speak on both languages on the same level. And very often it's just like to learn these languages from whom they translated. In other words, they're not like a native speaker, and in this case, they like to loss of some kind of like to information when translated. It's very visible when I translated, for example, what I mentioned before. I read 1QA4, and this book was originally written on Japanese because Haruki Murakami write novels on Japanese, and they translated in
hmm
English. And I see some very differences between like to English translated and English like to written by Japanese people, but who live in England, and English is his native. It sounds very different, and you see this like a translation used just like more simple words, and you read more like more smoothly because you don't like to go to dictionary and check the word. But when you read another Japanese author, but who originally write on English, you just like to go to dictionary very often. It's something very, very visible because I think it's some translator has more like to it's who translate. It's not native speaker on English.
Yeah, definitely.
Or
That's
or opposite. It's not like a native speaker on Japanese and just like to translate and just use some more common words.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it loses always the translation makes the meaning less attractive. I mean, it depends on the language. For example, Russian, because there's a problem with some languages, they're not too complicated. For example, Spanish, there is a big problem in the synonyms. For example, in English, there are many synonyms. For example, one adjective and very detailed. For example, let's say how do you say it? Some object, the state of an object. For example, let's say a wrinkled piece of paper. This is just an example, just to convey the idea. Okay, a wrinkled piece of paper. In Spanish, he will have one adjective, but in English there are many, like 4 or 3, and that's what makes English superior when it comes to translation. For example, Russian. I want to know if Russian has this complexity or it's just a simple language.
In Russian, I think we have some another problem. We have not um, like to restriction in order of the words. We possible like to use like to 5 words, but combine 5 different sentences, and sometimes the sentences is has very different meaning. And as well, this language is like very like to like flexible, how I can tell, and you can use one word, but you should be just change the form of this word to for you should be change the form of the word to be used in sentences. This is like to make more like too complex for learn Russian, because in English it's some very simple language, I think, because you have the order and you just like to put the words in correct order. But in Russian, you should be like to construct sentences more freely, but words it's uh, more flexible, and you should be learn a lot of like to form in endings. Yeah, I have some student. I have some experience when I teach African students. Uh, I teach biology, but at the same time they learn Russian language, and I saw
Mhm.
well, they have some kind of like to problems with learning. And as well, is Russian is not some simple language for learning.
Yeah, exactly. I think for them, I think they. Uh, it depends on the background. If they have, you said African students, if they have French or English as a second language, then it might be easier to learn Russian. But if you jump from the African languages, with all due respect, some languages are not very developed, so they are not do not have complexity. So it will be difficult for them to jump right uh, right away to Russian. That's when the importance of a second language comes. And not any second language. Some second languages has the complexity and the presence in the in the translation. You know, that's the point.
Yeah.
Anyways, but if you have the how to say the the desire to learn anything, you're gonna learn it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because English is not so very hard, it's very good choice to be like to international language for communication because it's more like to straightforward and more logical. Sometimes, sometimes not logical. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's good as like to I don't know, common language for communication.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, bro, it was very nice talking to you. You've given me some great recommendations, and
Next
Oh,
question.
okay, sorry.
or you can
I
answer your own
just
question.
jumped. Okay, I just jumped to another voice room with a beer under my mouse, and I misclick on this banner, and I just like to move to some another voice room and close my own. I think it's time to complete our live session today. I think it's good talk. We speak about some kind of translation problem. We mentioned some several books what we read, and I'm very glad to heard about the book what he suggested. It's like For Breath Alone. It's some interesting reference, and yeah, it's maybe a good time to read this book about Morocco. Yeah, I think about this. It's interesting suggestion from his side, and also okay, I just try to find and some another book what he suggested about Billy Elegy, A Memory of Family and Culture in Crisis. It's some interesting reference. I'm not like to find of this kind of book, but it's maybe a good point to read this book too. Uh, okay, just back for me. As mentioned, I complete Haruki Murakami 1QA4. I was very surprised by this book and very enjoyed when I'm reading, and I have very like to strong intention to read another Murakami's book. To be honest, I didn't read anything his book before, but I heard a lot of, and I have a very good, very strong intention to read, and I just read one of his book in my local library, and maybe tomorrow I go to library and pick up paper version of this book. Yeah, I think I want to do this uh, because I like how he write the book, how they present the story, and yeah, I like this. Okay, I think it's time to complete today session. If you watch on this on Twitch, don't forget to follow me and don't forget my another live sessions. If you watch on YouTube and another platform, just subscribe, put the like, and very important to write the comments because comments some kind of fuels what motivate me to do these sessions and talk about book with you. Thank for your time and see you next time here in Bookshelf Live. Bye.
Flip the pages, hear the sound of time. Stories weaving words that climb. Whispered tales in a cozy nook. Welcome to the magic of every book. Bookshelf babble.